morning, my dear children. Today we are going to study an interesting chapter, Sunita in Space. First, we need to know who is Sunita Williams. Sunita Williams is an astronaut. An astronaut is a person who goes in the space to learn about space, planets, heavenly bodies, etc. We can also call them space traveler. Sunita went into space through NASA. NASA is an American space agency. She was the second woman of Indian heritage to go into space. Now let's go through the chapter. Here we can see that two children, Uzaira and Shamir, are playing with a globe. A globe is a small model of the earth. They are very excited as Sunita Williams comes to their school the next day. The children had heard that she spent 6 months in the space. Shamir is confused as he could see America, Africa, and other continents on the globe, but not the space. Uzaira tells him that the sky, stars, sun, and moon, they are all in space. Uzaira tells Shamir that our earth looks like this globe from the space, and she shows as India on the globe. Shamir wonders that if we are on the globe, why do we follow? He thinks that we must be inside the globe. Uzaira says, if we would be inside the globe, then where would be the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars, etc.? So we must be on the globe. Then even the sea and the oceans also be on the globe. Shamir gets confused. He points out the lower part of the globe and asks if no one is there. Uzaira shows him Brazil, Argentina, etc. Shamir asks, they are the people they're standing upside down? Or why don't these people fall off? They both wonder that why the people will living in the lower part of the earth do not follow. Even the water from the sea and ocean does not fall over the people, those who are living in the lower part as ending upside down. What do you think, children? If the earth is round like a globe, why do we not follow? It is because of the gravitational force of the earth. It is the force through which the earth pulls everything towards itself and keep everything on the around. This is the reason for which something falls from our hand, it always falls on the ground. Or the picture of the earth looks small, but in reality it is too large. So that if we see one end to another, it looks flat. This is the reason we can't see the curved surface of the earth, and the people living at the other side of the earth, they also see the flat, not the curved one. Next day, Sunita came to her school and children got the chance to meet her. Sunita says that her friend Kalpana wanted to come to India and meet the children, but she could not come. Sunita came to India to fulfill her dream. Now, the question is, who was Kalpana Chawla? She was the first Indian woman to go into space. In 1997, she became the first Indian-born woman to go into and the second person to fly into space. Neil Armstrong was the first man to step feet on moon. He was an American. First Indian person was Rakesh Sharma who went into the space. Due to an accident in space, Kalpana Chawla could not come back and unfortunately died. Still, it is a pride that the woman born in India became the first woman to go to space. Kalpana Chawla and Sunita Williams went into space through NASA, the American Space Agency. Now, let's read Sunita's experience of living in space. She says that they could not sit at one place. They kept floating in the spaceship from one end to another. Water also did not stay at one place. It also was floating around as blobs. To wash their hands or face, they catch the water and wet the paper with them. They ate very differently. As they were just floating into the dining area, food packets were also floating. They had to catch them. In space, they would no need to use a comb, as hair kept standing all the time. Not being able to walk, she says they were not able to walk. They had to get used to floating around. They were just floating around. They learned to do the simple things in a different way. To stay at one place, they had to strap themselves there. Papers also had to be stuck to the wall of the spaceship. Otherwise, papers were also floating there. She says that it was lot of fun living in the space, but really it was very difficult also because everything was floating. Can you tell why it happened? Dear children, all these happened as there is no gravitational force in the space. Sunita Williams went 360 kilometers away from the Earth and it was out of the gravitational force of Earth. That is why there was no force to pull everything downwards. Imagine if there will be no gravity on the Earth, we would have been floating in the Earth all the time like this only. She described her view of the Earth from spaceship. Earth looks so beautiful and amazing. The carved shape of the Earth could be seen clearly from the space. Now, if we see a globe and the picture of the real Earth, we will find some difference. The difference is that we will see some lines on the globe or map, but we don't find any lines on the real Earth because this division is not done on the real Earth. The division into countries have been done by us. All the lines on the maps or globes are made by us. Now let's talk about Moon. It is a natural satellite of the Earth. It revolves around the Earth. A satellite is a heavenly body which revolves around the planet, and we see moon in different shapes. Suppose if we see a full moon tonight, we will see a crescent moon, means half moon, after a week. After 15 days, we may not see the moon at all. A full moon night is called Purnima, and when there is no moon, it is called new moon or Amavasya. It takes 15 days from Purnima to Amavasya. the next 15 days from Amavasya to next Purnima. It means it is a month-long cycle. In our country, many festivals are associated with moon such as Eid, Holi, Guru Purnima, Diwali, Raksha Bandhan, etc. All these festivals are associated with moon. We may see some other things also in the sky, like artificial satellite. Artificial satellites are the man-made machines, man-made satellites which are sent into the space by human for different purposes like weather forecast or live telecast events, etc. We can see constellations also. Constellation means a group of stars which make a particular shape, that is called a constellation. We may see Venus and Mercury planets as morning and evening stars. Sometimes if we see a shooting star, that is a meteoroids. Meteoroids are the rock particles that move in the space as they enter the Earth's atmosphere. They catch fire and known as shooting star. This way with the beautiful view of sky and earth. Okay, so we complete our chapter.